folks, happy Monday. This is Annette Evans with On Her Own. I'd like to thank all of you for watching my InRange series where I take a look at self-defense products and strategies that are marketed to women to see if they are safe and if they're effective. So in the last episode, we talked about the idea of putting keys between your fingers and using them to punch somebody when you're trying to get away from them when they've attacked you. And we discovered that maybe that wasn't such a good idea, and in response, a lot of people raised the idea of using these cat keychains that look like this. You see them sold a lot in gun shops, at gun shows. They're given away as self-defense items. I've seen them for years and years and years, even before I was involved in this industry. And the idea is that you put your fingers through the holes, and then you can punch somebody with them, and the pointy ears are going to cause extra damage. So I looked at them with a fresh eye with some of the principles that we talked about in the key video, and I've got a few problems with them, but hang on, I have a solution on if you already have them, how to use them in a way that's least likely to hurt you and most likely to actually do any good at all. So the first thing I noticed with these is that they're really, really skinny, and therefore when you have them in your hand, no matter how you hold them, there's just not a lot to support them in your hand, and there's a lot of skinny surface area to kind of drive up against your hand or your fist, and that's going to hurt a lot if you try to punch somebody with them. The other problem I have with them is that these rings in the eyes are, again, because of the skinny material, if you've ever heard of degloving, that's an injury where the skin is literally stripped off a joint like a finger with like a ring or something like that, just like the rings on this. It's less of a problem with real brass knuckles because they're wider. With these skinny things, they're more likely to become more like a cutting implement. So if you use these to punch somebody and they get stuck and they get stripped out of your hand because you aren't able to maintain that grip, then you do stand the chance of getting a degloving injury, and those are, I'm just going to say you probably don't want to Google that, especially if you've eaten recently or are planning on eating soon. However, there is one way to use these in a way that could be safe, could be effective, and that is to simply hold them in your hand as intended, either, like this, or I find them a little bit more comfortable kind of coming out of the front of my knuckles. I don't think this really works for small hands coming out of this end of your knuckle. But the idea is to hold them as tightly as you can, and instead of trying to punch somebody with them, you can kind of just drive those points into them when you're trying to push them away from you. So, for instance, if somebody grabs the wrist and you have this in your other hand, you can take those points and stick them in the elbow and push them away, or just hold it there while they're trying to push towards you. It's not the most effective thing in the world, but it's something that will have lower chances of injury for you and could help with a little bit of pain compliance in making them decide to let go of you or to stop bothering you. I don't love it, but if you already have a set of these, that's one way you can use them if you decide that you don't want to go with a more effective tool. You know me, On Her Own, I love pepper spray, but there's lots of other tools out there. Just, you don't want to rely on things that aren't super effective, but if you're going to use them, know how to use them safely and know how to use them the best way possible. Hope that helps you. Have a great week. I'll see you in a few days.